You may not want to be labeled that crazy prepper that has years and years and years worth of food. That's okay. Some people think that's waste. Some people think that's a little over the top. But what about minimums? We've talked maximums. We've talked shelf life. We've talked about things that last the longest and how much you need. Now let's talk if I had to get through 3 to 5 days worth of survival, 3 to 5 days worth of prepping, 3 to 5 days worth of a disaster. Could we make it? And what would be how much of food? How much of this or that? What do we need? What is our just minimal? I'm not a crazy prepper. I just want to have just a little bit to get me through maybe 3 to 5 days. Well, today's video is going to be a good one. We're going to talk about just that very thing. And it's going to be a good list. And it's things that we know, but what do we need and how much? Just for minimums. Just for safety, because we don't want to be known as the crazy prepper. That's okay to be known as a crazy prepper like us. But just in case you don't want to be known as that, let's jump into a good, quick list for 3 to 5 days. Video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Today's video is going to be good, starting on the minimums. Before we get into the list, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell to the max. Remember, we're getting close to 200,000 subscribers and we're going to be doing a massive giveaway worth of thousands of dollars worth of gifts. All it takes is you to subscribe down here, and we're going to be doing a major live when we hit 200K to be able to give those things out. No requirements other than subscribing, and then we're going to randomly select you to send these gifts out to you. So please go in here, press subscribe, and that way you'll be entered into the giveaway. Now let's jump right into the list. Of course, first is food and water. Let's jump into food first. We want to break food into 3 major food groups: proteins, carbs, and then let's talk fats too. If I was saying I want to have sustainable food to last on a shelf, but to last for 3 days, I want a 3-day kit or a 5-day kit. Let's jump into proteins first. I'm gonna focus on 3 main things: dehydrated or cured meat, canned meat, and also another source of protein other than meat. It would be some kind of beef jerky or cured meat or cured or dried meat of some sort. Again, we're raising a lot of our meat on farm, but if I'm going to buy it, I'm gonna buy some kind of meat that is almost like a beef jerky. Now, beef jerky does not last forever. We understand it. If you're not making your own, this is something that you will rotate out. But I may have something that can be on the go, quick, fast, great energy, great protein, and it doesn't really need anything to keep it fresh because it's already dehydrated and cured. It would be perfect for you. Number 2 of the meats would be canned meats. I would focus on chicken breast, I would focus on tuna, or I'd focus on another high protein fish in a can. I would stay away from just the chilies or stay away from things like the potted meats. Not that those wouldn't be good to stockpile, but if I'm talking about the most nutritious, most healthy, most protein rich food, I would stick to canned chicken and canned tuna. So we've got the beef jerky, the canned chicken, canned tuna, and lastly it would be peanut butter. Not only does it have fat and carbs, it also has a heavy protein level for something that's not meat. It has a very good shelf stable capability. Canned meat would last the longest if you're canning your own meat or you're buying it. However, these things can be rotated out. They're very good to have on hand. Now, how much do we need? I would say 2 packs of beef jerky, 5 cans each of tuna and chicken, or one that you like the most, and then I would have 3 peanut butter. Now, that's not a lot, but that's what I would say for 3 to 5 days, heavy protein loads for an individual. If you have 4 individuals, I would times this and multiply it to get to that same number per individual. Are you going to eat that much? No. But say you're on your feet. Maybe you're working outside. Maybe you're working with getting wood moved. Maybe you're doing a lot of manual labor outside where you're burning a lot of energy and a lot of calories. These things are not only full of calories, they are great when it comes to taking care of your body and muscles. Protein is one of the best sources of food. Now to carbs and fats. Carbs, I would stay towards your grains, rice, and oats. Now again, there's tons, there's flour, there's all kinds of things. But when it comes to rice and oats, they're very cheap, they're very good for you in the fact of adding calories, adding carbs, and being something that you can eat on the go, mixed with a little water or heat it up, you have a meal. Now, if you're looking for the cheapest option, of course, dried oats, dried rice. the very cheapest option. If you're looking for something that is quick on the go and you have a little extra money to spend towards it, you may want to buy the packaged rice that's already pre-cooked, and even the packaged oatmeal that really doesn't need cooking other than just a little water. I like the dried because they last a lot longer. I like it in the natural sense. I don't like a lot of stuff in it, because the more stuff in it, the more it may go bad. So I like buying regular dried rice, regular dried old-fashioned oats. Those two things are very good to have on hand. 3 to 5 days, I would have 5 pounds of rice and about 3 pounds of oatmeal. But based on calorie counts, based on how much that you may need to eat, another way that you can kind of average out what you're needing to eat, take your body weight. If you weigh it, like for instance, I weigh 170 pounds, 150 to 170 grams worth of protein a day, that's a great consumption. If I'm having 25 to 30% of my diet in carbs, I've got a real balanced nutritional meal for the day. I want to make sure I kind of stay at that even when I'm eating normal, even when I go into prepping, because my body is used to it. So again, front loading proteins. Carbs would be the oats and rice, making sure you have 5 pounds, 2 to 3 pounds worth of oatmeal. Again, multiply that per person in your family, and that will get you a good 3 to 5 day ration. Now let's jump to the fats. Now, fats are pretty easy. It's things that you need to be adding to your diet. Peanut butter, you're already getting some fat in there. It may not be enough. So if I was looking for a controlled fat that's going to be healthy for me, that I can utilize to maybe cook some of this food in or to have in my diet, personally, I would lean towards our canned lard and canned butter. That's us because we raise it on farm. But if I'm buying it, if I'm buying what I need, my fats may be coconut oil and olive oil. Both of those things can be added straight to your food. They're not harmful for you in any way. I'd stay towards organic and naturals. They're going to have a good shelf life, not forever. All these things need to be rotated out. But for fats and oils, and to make sure you can add it back to any of these without having to cook it or worry about your health, olive oil, especially like an extra virgin olive oil or having a coconut oil, both of those things are very good for you. A lot of extra virgin olive oils are already in dressings without cooking it. Coconut oil is easy in taste, and also it melts down pretty quickly, so you can utilize it a lot better. Mix it into your rice, make a coconut rice. Mix it into something else that you're cooking, maybe into some of your meats to make them taste a little bit better, or to have a different flavor, or to be able to cook some of the chicken and heat it up. There's different varieties of that, but having 2 oils would be great. Now, I would honestly say you could never have too many fats and oils because you're going to utilize them a lot. But say, for instance, 3 to 5 days, they sell little quart cans of coconut oil, and they sell little quart bottles of virgin olive oil. Now, if we were talking in quarts or talking in gallons, let's make it easy. You may say, I want a gallon worth of coconut oil because it goes a long way. You're not going to eat it as much. However, the olive oil, the extra virgin olive oil, you may use a lot more. I would pick up about 2 to 3 gallons worth of oil. That would help you kind of get through and make sure you have enough per person. Now, if you're that kind of like, I don't want to have fat, I don't want to have oil just sitting around, then look back towards the peanut butter, look back towards maybe nuts such as almonds. All those things have a good bit of fat in them. Another great source would be avocado. If there's a way that you can buy freeze-dried avocado, that's another great source. But make sure if you're buying things to fill the fat and oils, they have to be shelf stable. So you may have to have a dehydrated version of that, or you may have to have a freeze-dried version of that. I would have a lot more fats and oils that I would like in this list, but we're talking 3 to 5 days, and we're talking to make sure they last a long time. Coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, both of those are very good. Now, water, food and water. Water, I would make sure you have 3 to 5 days. Now, how much does one person need? No matter if you're drinking it or not, I would always say you need a gallon worth of water to drink per day per person. So 3 to 5 gallons per person to drink. Now, I would double that when it comes to, well, you have to brush your teeth. You have to have some kind of hygiene. You have to do other things with water. Hygiene and mouth care, all those things are very vital when it comes to survival, because both of those things can cause major issues to our breakdown of our skin or our mouth. Both of those can make us very unhealthy. So when it comes to water, 3 to 5 gallons worth each a person for drinking, and then you need another 3 to 5 gallons worth per person to simply have for just in case emergency use, brushing our teeth, washing our body, or maybe just helping cook some food down. You never know what you may need it for. Water is very cheap, and storing water is cheap. It's just one thing that we don't tend to do because we don't think we'll ever be without it. Water is the key to life, so make sure if you have food and water, you're putting up good amounts like the ones that we're talking about to get through your 3 to 5 days. Safety and security, we're gonna throw out a few items that you need to have and just in case items. Matches and lighters, make sure you have a big box of matches to get you through a 3 to 5 day situation. If you're not using matches, make sure you have 2 or 3 good lighters. Then you have to have something to light. So I would challenge you to start putting up your dryer lint and toilet paper cardboard rollers that you have. That's free. I've done a video on free prepping, and that's one of the things that we talk about. Dryer lint is something you already have. Used toilet paper rolls are things you already have. Little kindlings or little light, easy lighting mechanisms to make sure you have fire if you needed it. If you're trying to light a fire, if you're trying to cook. Now I would also throw a smaller rocket stove into the mix. I've showed you a rocket stove in one of our videos. I'll link one below. It's very economical and is a way that you can cook or heat no matter what. And along with us talking about some kind of cooking or fire, I would have one cast iron pan that can do it all. And you could cook any or heat up any of these foods in that pan. It will not hurt your pan. If you want to mix it all up and have a big hodgepodge meal with your meat and with your fats and with your carbs, great. You have a cast iron pan that can handle any kind of fire. A Dutch oven would be good here. So when we talk about safety and security, we got food, water, we talked about fire preservation and making sure that you can heat up something, rocket stove, cast iron, matches, and some kind of way to light. Now wood, of course, charcoal, both of those things need to be added into the mix. But those things you hopefully can pick up around your home. If not, if you're not in an area that has a lot of rural wood that you can just make brush out of and heat something up, look at charcoal. Charcoal is another good thing to have in a 3 to 5 day supply. When we talk about charcoal, if I'm stockpiling charcoal for 3 to 5 days, I would maybe have 2 sacks of the 15-pound bags. Also in this same talk, if we're talking propane, make sure with your propane you have a full tank that you can have with a burner. I like to stockpile more than just one. You may be using it for cooking and you may be using it for heating. So I would have one for each. One for cooking if you can't cook on fire, one for heating if you can't do anything. You can use a Mr. Buddy heater or some way to heat your home or heat the area that you and your family are in. We don't think about it, but storms happen in the cold and in the hot. We have to have a way to cook and heat up food. If we don't have fire, we have propane. If we can stockpile that propane, that'd be great. Now, if we have a secondary redundant version of it, that will allow us not to use the same one for cooking. It could be used for heating and taking care of us with warmth. So we've hit on a lot of things. Very, very easy list, and you just need to be writing these things down. Lastly, I would say you need to make sure you are secure. So having an everyday carry or having some kind of form of self-defense is good. Is that a taser? Is that pepper spray? Is that a concealed carry? Whatever that is, you need to make sure that you know it well, you know you're comfortable with it, and that you can use it if you ever were put into that situation. What would go along with that? I would add a flashlight, making sure you have a quality flashlight with batteries or a way that you can charge. If you can't charge because the power's out, you need to have several batteries or have a flashlight that has a long life. After the self-defense tools and after maybe a flashlight, the last thing I would like to talk to you about is making sure if you're needing 3 to 5 days, have some kind of generator. I would challenge you not to just have maybe a propane or gas generator because everybody has those. Maybe look at a battery bank or a solar bank generator that you can utilize. I've showed things like the Pecron, things like the Blue Eddy, ones we have here. Now I believe in propane generators. I believe in gas generators. But it comes to a point where if we don't have a renewable source to have a good bit of gas or a good bit of propane put up, we would need something that could help generate itself back to full capacity. So I go back to the solar battery bank. Now these solar battery banks do not hold up nearly as long as a propane if you're running them all the time. But having that to have a renewable source, all your energy back from the sun, put it back into your battery bank, and you could be able to utilize it to charge anything that you're needing. Also use it maybe for a hot plate, use it for other things when your propane's out, maybe to charge up your flashlights again, maybe to charge up a laptop or an iPad or a cell phone if you're trying to get in touch with somebody. Maybe it's to charge up your walkie-talkies or your CB. I mean, there's all kinds of situations and scenarios. This is just a beginner minimal prep situation. I would expound on this emphatically. I've got 10 months worth of videos expounding on this. But when it comes to saying, I don't want to be known as that crazy prepper, I don't want to stockpile the world, I don't have the money to stockpile, but 3 to 5 days, I need to kind of put up. And that would be good to have as a little rainy day extra additive just in case, because you never know. If these preppers are right, I need to be ready. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about some of these items: food, water, shelter, and safety. Also making sure you're taking care of your family when it's hot, cold, and cooking. It's all very important. None of these things are very expensive unless you start getting to the propane or the battery banks. All these other things you can stockpile pretty economical, and I think you need to do it. 3 to 5 days, keep your family safe no matter what situation and what life throws at you. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless. Happy homestead, y'all.